So I feel a little bit biased. Whenever I review a Schiit product, it kind of brings me back to when I really started getting into audio. Okay, I had this little Fola 2, I had an HD600, and I had an M1060. And that was like the coolest shit ever, honestly. Like, I loved it. It was so engaging. The sound was so unique. I'd never heard anything like those headphones before. So just whenever I review a Schiit product, it kind of brings me back to that nostalgia, especially something small like this. Now, my buddy Ryan hit me up about this. I didn't actually know they had released. Actually, I checked in recently with Schiit, and they've actually released a lot of different products. So they have the Asgard 2, the Fola is now a Fola 3, they have a Ragnarok 2 now. And their naming scheme is a little bit funny because sometimes they'll put like the number of the iteration that it's on, and sometimes it won't. Like with the Ragnarok, it just still says Ragnarok, even though it's Ragnarok 2 and looks completely different. But with the Lear, they put Lear, Lear 2, Lear 3, actually on the device. So their naming scheme is a little funny. So Ryan hit me up about this, and I went out immediately and I bought it. This is a very intriguing product to me. I love Schiit as a company. I think they're hilarious. They have like some of like the funniest little statements that every other company on earth is seemingly afraid to make. And there's something about my gorilla brain that just loves a good poop joke. I don't know why. Okay, so the Schiit Hell. The way this is marketed is basically like a gaming device for audiophiles. And I think that's exactly sort of what it provides. I mean, one, it's red, so you know that it's good for gaming. You just know it by the red color. But two is that Schiit is actually an audiophile company first. And if you're unfamiliar with them, they make, you know, $1,600 amplifiers, $2,000 DACs. They're a very high-end audiophile grade company, especially for headphones. That seems to be what the majority of the focus stems on. So if you're coming from the gaming industry and you've never actually heard of this company, this would be a great introduction into that more audiophile territory for you, because the Schiit Hell is actually amazing. I love this thing. So if you're familiar with the Magni or the Modi or the Fola, this has kind of the same metal usage on there. And if you go higher up in the line, like their Lear or their Jotunheim, they get a little bit thicker in the metal. It's a little bit higher quality. This is still decent quality for, you know, 189 bucks, which is what this is coming in at. Feels good. It's kind of lightweight, but it doesn't move around a whole lot on your desk. Like you moving the cable around is not going to move it, but you're going to have to hold it when you plug in the cable. You'll notice on the front/top, there's actually two volume knobs. So this top volume knob, which I do love the top volume knob just for convenience and being able to easily access it, but it does make stacking kind of impossible. But this top knob is for your headphone and your preamp output. And this knob in the front is actually for your microphone input gain. So we'll talk more about that in just a second. Speaking of the front, they have a 3.5mm microphone input, a switch between USB and analog, which is also a 3.5mm in on the back. They have a high and low gain switch, and then they have a 1/4" output in the front for your headphones. Now I actually find this 1/4" kind of odd because what they do is they actually provide you with this little 4-pin to dual 3-pin 3.5mm adapter. And what this basically takes is a headphone like this, which is a KSC75X that has a little microphone on it with a 4-pin, and they let you plug it in and use it into the Schiit Fola as basically a kind of a gaming headset, so to speak, or just like, you know, listening to music, and you also can send your voice through if you need to. Now I find this 1/4" odd because I think it actually should have been a 3.5mm. And I only say that because one, anybody who's gonna use an adapter is gonna be using a 3.5mm, and then you have to have a further adapter from 3.5 to 1/4", which they also provide a 1/4" adapter. So now you have your cable and then two other individual adapters just to make this work with a standard 4-pin 3.5mm. Now that is one side, but the counter argument to this is that a lot of kind of audiophile grade headphones, kind of the majority of people who would be interested in this product, is going to be using a 1/4". It's kind of somewhat the industry standard nowadays. So to me, it's kind of a toss-up of like, it really could have gone either way. But I think for this particular product, not their other ones, but for this particular one, it should have been a 3.5mm, but it's a really small gripe. So on the back from left to right, you have an analog input, a preamp output, then you have two micro USB ports and a on and off switch. So why do you have two micro USBs there? One is for an actual wall outlet power, which you do need to power this. You cannot power this off of a computer, but you do need that. And then the other USB input is actually for your computer interface. So you just plug this into your computer and you can pass through both your microphone and it will send the signal out to your headphones all through one cable. Okay, so about that preamp output, what this is basically for is to be able to send a signal to a pair of powered monitors. So you can actually just send what's coming in into the hell out to a pair of powered monitors via 3.5 to RCA or 3.5 to 3.5. A couple notes on functionality here though. One, there is no switch to turn this on and off. I think this is a big oversight and it should have been implemented, like a physical switch of like, hey, I want a headphone output, or hey, I want the preamp output. And the reason why is because it will automatically switch to the headphone output if there's a headphone plugged in. So if you just, if you have a 3.5 going out to your speakers and then you plug in your headphones, it will automatically turn off the preamp to the speakers and will turn on the amplifier to the headphones. This is great. It's great that it's not both on at the same time. That would be a big no-no. But because there is no switch, let's say you're on high gain for some high efficiency headphones like these Arias, and then you unplug them, all of a sudden you're gonna be blasting out of your speakers. And so this is really gonna come down to the user, making sure that they're not making that mistake. Otherwise, you could potentially be dealing with some very loud, very immediate sound. So make sure you're turning it down before you switch, which is good practice anyways. So this device is targeted to kind of attack the market of both something like the Focusrite, although it's kind of flipped where that's more of a microphone input with an okay, passable headphone output. And it's also meant to attack the market of something like the Mayflower Arc, which is kind of more built what this is for, where it's a better headphone output than it is a microphone input. Now, when it comes to a comparison between this and the Mayflower Arc, I think this is a better product, not just for sound, but also for the microphone input. So the microphone input on the Arc, for lack of a better term, was pretty terrible. My onboard audio, honestly, it does sound better. This is different. This is actually really clean sounding, really low distortion, even at all the way turned up for your microphone input. And I will do a quick test at the end of this video for the actual microphone input. Now, the output power of this thing is about the same as the Mayflower Arc. The Mayflower Arc puts out 1 watt at 32 ohms, and so does the Hell. But I find that the implementation of the Hell is actually a lot better. It's just kind of more well-refined. It has more dynamic range. It's got better placement and kind of, edges out the Arc in a lot of ways for actual total sound quality. So between those two, honestly, I would pick this one. So the DAC being used in this is an AK4490, it's 24-bit DAC, but the amplification is really where this thing shines. Everything from cheap headphones like those KSC75s that I was talking about, to these Fostex X00 Ebonies, to these Arias, to HD800Ss, all of it was being able to be pushed cleanly. And I actually find this really impressive because with the Aria, what you usually find with amplifiers with this specific headphone is that it's like watching a video in different qualities. The same video, but just in different qualities. So you have like 144, 240, 360, 720, 1080p, 4K, right? And I feel like as you get better and better in amplifiers, you get this more refined version of the same sound. Now, while of course this is not directly compete with the top of line amplifiers like the IDSD and the ICANN together, or like the Sennheiser HDV820 or even the 789, it is hitting above its price grade for this specific headphone, which is kind of crazy, but I find the implementation of this really, really good. So with the features and the build and the device as a whole, how it implements sound and everything, this is one hell of a device, and I would like to see more of this shit in the future. Okay, and then real quick, we're gonna be doing the microphone test here with a couple different types of microphones, both unpowered and powered. All right, so this one should be fairly simple. Same microphone I was using for the video. It's a Deity powered microphone. It's just, off its own battery, plugged into the 3.5 millimeter, turned almost all the way up, just because this thing is so strong, I have to turn it down a little bit. It does sound, in my opinion, a lot better than the Mayflower. And now we'll test an unpowered microphone from a headset. Okay, so this is going to be the PC37X microphone. Any plosives or anything that you hear is going to be a result of this actual microphone, not the actual Schiit preamp. But I think as a microphone input interface, it sounds definitely passable to get by. Again, same thing with the Mayflower. Wouldn't use it for any sort of professional application, but just communicating with people, I think it's more than enough, and definitely of good enough quality to get by without a massive amount of distortion. So that's going to be about wrapping it up. I want to do a couple quick promos here. One, I will be having a review of the PC37X coming out this week, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. Very good gaming headphone. And later down the road, I'm actually waiting on a couple of other headphones to get here. I want to have a actual gaming kind of headphone breakdown at different prices, featuring the Hell, the 37X, and a couple other surprise headphones that we'll be talking about in that video. So if that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. Also, if you like what I do here on the channel, you like audio equipment, please also subscribe and hit that like button. There's like t-shirts and sweatshirts that are, the Balance series that I just came out with. It allows you to show your love of audio to the world in a pretty sleek little package. I'm actually waiting on mine to be delivered right now. So that's gonna wrap it up. Thanks very much for watching. Links to the Hell down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, peace.